StraightallDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of wait for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is how to be a good writer. And I'll tell you why we're talking about this in a moment. First, remind everybody, I send out a text every day, guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point. Send one out every week as well. I call them the daily motivation and the Monday motivation, respectively. You can receive these texts straight to your phone. All you got to do is be a member of my text community, and we'll tell you what your options are as soon as you join. It is free to join by texting me at my number, 305-384-6894. It is listed down below in the show notes. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That's the only place I do any coaching. If you would like to be coached by me directly, there is only one way to do it. That is through workonyourgameuniversity.com is the name of the website. Just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You schedule a time to hop on a call with us. We're looking for top 2% performers or people who want to be in that top 2%. Everybody else, we're not looking for you. We're looking for people who want to be top 2% performers. So if I'm talking to you, then go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link is down below in the description, as well as the number to my texting community. So with that out the way, getting into this topic of how to be a good writer. Now, while I understand that many of you are headed towards the audio and video platforms because they are extremely popular and generally easier to do. It's easier for me to sit and record a 25-minute episode of this show than it would be for me to write about all the things that I talk about on the show. It takes more work to do the writing. We're going to get into that here in today's episode. Do not undervalue the value of the written word. None of you should undervalue it, even if you're a influencer on TikTok right now, even if your YouTube is popping off or your audio show, whatever. Do not undervalue the value of the written word. I'm going to do a whole episode tomorrow on why the written word still matters very much, even though many people are effectively ignoring the written word. A lot of people don't pay any attention to the written word. A lot of people just simply don't read. But today I'm going to explain how to be a good writer. And tomorrow I will give the prequel to this episode. So I'm doing this one first. So I kind of could have did the other one first, but we'll do this one first. This is going to be the prequel to, actually, we should call it a sequel. This is the sequel to tomorrow's episode. Well, tomorrow is going to be the prequel. Today is the sequel. Okay, I got it right. I'm going to explain why writing still matters. All right, tomorrow. Now, everything I say in today's episode, again, it can apply to your spoken word as well as your written word, but I'm talking specifically about the writing because that written word has a lot of value that you need to understand. Again, in tomorrow's episode, which could have come before this one, but it won't, I'm going to explain why the written word still matters at a very high level and maybe even more than the spoken / video / audio word. Point number one, topic once again today is how to be a good writer. Number one, have a personality and express it. Who are you? What is it about your approach and your thought process and the way you communicate that makes you different from any one of the other 100,000 people out there who may be talking at the same time as you or talking about a similar thing to you or is looking for the same people's attention whom you are looking for attention from? What about you makes you different? One of the biggest challenges I see with many creators and would-be influencers when it comes to the written word is they're not saying anything new. I read a lot, and a lot of what I read from people who are, again, would-be influencers, they are content creators, you're just simply saying the same stuff that everybody already has either said, heard, or agrees with. If everything you say are things that people have already said or already heard or already have decided that they agree with, and I mean, I'm talking about specifically the people who are paying attention to the stuff you talk about, your words just blend into the masses of other people talking about the same stuff. And that's a problem because when you blend into the masses, you become a commodity. And when you're a commodity, then in business, it's a race to the bottom. In other words, the only way you can beat your competitors on price because subjectively, there's nothing different between you and them. Y'all saying all the same stuff. You have the same ideas. Y'all agree on everything. Well, what's the difference? With the price. That's the only price, the only way you can win. And then it becomes, as they say, a race to the bottom, not a race to the top, a race to the bottom. It was a race that you don't even want to win. Many of you, again, are not saying anything different. You're not catching anybody's attention. Therefore, your words are just blending in with everybody else's. You're not sticking out. You're not memorable. And nobody really needs to read what you're writing, because everything that you say, I can get it from 10 other people because they're all saying the same thing. So if I don't read your article, I can read the next person's because they're going to say the same thing that you said. See, when it comes to writing, you want to get in this writing game, folks, your writing must blend in your personality. Your personality should be blended into your writing. And your personality, here's the reason why it matters so much to blend your personality into your writing, because your personality is not duplicatable. Nobody else can use your personality. Someone could listen to this show and they could read my articles and they could kind of copy paste what I say and go say it, but it's not going to sound the same. It's not going to land the same coming from anyone other than the person who created it, which is me. So if you listen to this show, especially if you read the articles that I send out via email, and by the way, if you're not on my email list, just go to workonmygame.com. Again, workonmygame.com. You read the articles that I send out and you listen to the show, you can note my personality in every single thing that I put out. You can feel it in the content. If I took my name off of one of my articles and gave it to someone who has read my articles before and they read it, they would know that that was my written word. Why? Because I have a certain style. There's a certain personality in my writing that you can tell it was written by me. And you want your readers to say the same thing about you with anything that you write. And this does apply to other people in the world today. This can apply to, when I say people know it's their voice when they hear it, is, I don't mean voice like audibly hearing. I mean a voice like just you look at the words and you're like, all right, that sounds like this person said it. That sounds like something this person would say or do. And you want to be that because it creates a brand name in the mind of your audience. You want your audience to think of a certain approach and a certain style when they know that they're reading something that you wrote, whether that be a book, an article, a caption, whatever it happens to be. But you need a unique, specific style, and that is based on you diving into your personality. Who are you as a person? How do you want to be thought of? How do you want to be looked at? All of that plays a role in how much of your personality you actually want to put out there. And I suggest the more you put it out there, especially those of you who are brand builders, the more you put it out there, the better you will be. Okay, that's it. And so, again, someone who has read your work before, you take your name off of the next thing you write and gave it to one of your readers, they should know that it came from you. All right, that you're writing. That's why your writing needs to sound like it came specifically from a person, not that it came from some bot or AI software. Speaking of such, point number 2, today's topic once again is how to be a better writer. Number 2, ditch ChatGPT. Yes, you heard me correctly. I said ditch it, get rid of it. When it comes to your writing, get rid of ChatGPT. And when I say ChatGPT, I don't mean necessarily that application. I mean any type of AI writing software. You don't need it. As of the stuff I know about today. Now, there are a couple companies that I'm on their email list and they're emailing to me about how their AI software is actually even more advanced than ChatGPT and it can do stuff that ChatGPT doesn't do. I personally am dubious. As far as my writing style, the way that I write, I doubt there's AI that can do that, but I would love for AI to prove me wrong. Because I told you where I see this going. I told you in the episodes where I talked about AI and where I see it going in the future that I believe, and it was just episodes number, I think it was 2762. I talked about what's coming in AI. This was part 4 of that 5-part series just a couple of weeks ago. I told you that I believe there will come a time when AI can read and listen to everything you ever created, and then it can actually capture your personality and even weave your own personal stories into an AI-created article. I believe that's coming. I haven't seen it yet, but there are software companies out there that are claiming their AI is even better than a ChatGPT level AI, and it can do all this different stuff, and it'll be SEO perfect and all of this stuff. Again, I got to see it first. I haven't seen it yet, so therefore I can't tell you all. So as of this recording rather today, I'm telling you to ditch ChatGPT and I have AI writing for you. Now, I do find services like GPT, and when I say ChatGPT in this context, I'm referring to all types of AI writing software. I'm just using them because they're the most known. I found ChatGPT to be good for one specific thing for me, and that is helping me with ideation. So if I'm looking for a topic to speak about, I want to do a live stream on Instagram and trying to figure out what I want to talk about, I probably wouldn't go to ChatGPT for this. I would actually look at my list of episodes I've done here on the show because we got damn near 3,000. I got plenty of topics to choose from. I'll probably pick something I've talked about before and just do it as a live stream topic. But let's just say I didn't have that. I didn't have a show. and I needed a topic to talk about, but I'm still the same person. I just don't have a show. Then I would go to ChatGPT and say, hey, give me 10 ideas for something I could speak for on 20 minutes regarding personal or professional development, or something about confidence, or something about mindset. And ChatGPT within 30 seconds will have given me the 10 ideas. One of those 10 might be useful. So ChatGPT is good for certain things. Again, when it comes to ideation, I think ChatGPT is great, as long as you ask the right question. So I'm looking for an idea for an episode to record on this show, and I don't have any ideas, no content ready. I can ask ChatGPT, give me 20 ideas around this topic of blank, and I can put in whatever the topic is and ask ChatGPT to give me 20 ideas. And again, out of those 20, maybe I'll take 3 or 4 that are useful for me, and something I haven't talked about already, and I'll go record episodes on it. And ChatGPT helped me. That could happen, but I would never, ever, as a writer, have ChatGPT do all my writing for me, at least pending how good the current GPT software is, and I have no idea where it's going to go in the future. Okay, so certain things are way better 10 years from now. Don't come pulling this video up or this episode up saying, hey, Dre, I got receipts. And you saying you would never use ChatGPT, but you used it. Well, if things change, then things change. But right now, with current knowledge, no. ChatGPT, and here's the reasons. Apps like GPT write very generically. The only way that generic writing is valuable for you as a writer is if you are creating a generic entity that you want to build up, drive traffic to, and then sell to some corporation who wants exactly that, generic traffic or generic content. So if that's what you're looking for, then all right, go ahead and do it if that's the goal. If your goal is anything other than that, because I'm not a generic creator. My business is not generic, and my content is not generic, and my message is not generic. So this will not work for me. Now, if that's what you're trying to do, you want to have a nameless, faceless company and just put some name on it, Consulting Solutions LLC, and then you want to just put that stuff out there. You want to catch the wave and see if you can do business that way. Go ahead and do it. But if you're trying to do something that is going to be more bespoke and people are going to know you personally for you, then GPT is not capable of doing that in a way that humans can. So I have no use for ChatGPT's writing ability, and you probably don't either. Now, GPT can be used for other things that are actually very good. It can make a great summary. If you put a whole bunch of text and say, can you summarize this in bullet point format? It can do it. Can you break this down into numbered format? It can do it. And it does it extremely quickly, faster than any human being would ever dream about doing these things. So I'm not saying ChatGPT is a bad tool. I'm saying you just need to use the right tool for the right reasons. Point, and writing ain't one of them as of today's technology. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is how to be a better writer. Number 3, embrace your unique ability. Now, I want to be clear what this means, because unique ability does not mean the thing that you do at a really high level. So if you write books and you think your books are amazing, that does not make book writing your unique ability. You think you're a great athlete, sport you play is not a unique ability. Unique ability is about your way of doing things within a certain context, and is not attached to a specific skill, such as writing, playing basketball, or fixing broken backs as a chiropractor. That's not unique ability. Unique ability is transferable. That's the first thing you should think about. When I say transferable, what that means is it doesn't matter what specific job you're doing, that unique ability goes with you. And it shines through in everything that you do, no matter what it is you're doing. Again, it's about your way of doing things within a certain context that is not attached to a certain specific skill, such as writing, playing ball, or, again, fixing broken backs. Unique ability is about the way that you do things, and the way is transferable amongst different disciplines. My unique ability is breaking things down and putting them back together. That's pretty much my unique ability. I do that in written word, I do it in audio, I do it on video, I do it in one-on-one conversation, I do it in group conversations. That's what I do. Break things down and put them back together and make them easy to understand, even if you know nothing about the subject at hand. I appear on a lot of podcasts, other people's platforms. And just yesterday, I was recording a show with Jillian, and she has a show called No Secrets, something like that. Life with No Secrets. That's the name of her show. Life with No Secrets. By the time you hear this episode, may be out, may not be out yet. But when I was recording with Jillian, she was asking about my background, and I'm talking, and I came to the basketball part, and I explained to her about going to a Division III college and then going to an exposure camp, and how that led to me getting my first agent, how it led to my first professional basketball contract. And she offered me a compliment. She said, I really love the way that you kind of break things down and make them easy to understand, because she said, even though I don't know the basketball world even 1% as much as you do, the way you broke it down and explained it, I completely understood what you were saying. And I responded to her. I thanked her for the compliment, and I told her, that is my gift. That is my unique ability, my ability to break things down and put them back together in such a way that you, even if you knew nothing when I first came around, you feel like you know a whole lot more now that I'm going. That's what I do. All right, that is a unique ability. You need to know what yours is. And again, it's usually not the job itself. It's bigger than the job. So my ability to break something down, put it back together, and make it easy for anyone to understand, I can apply that unique ability to basketball the same way I could apply it to business. All right. I can do it in writing the same way that I could do it on a video. You need to know what your unique ability is, work on that unique ability. In other words, work on your game, enhance that game, and then start applying it to everything that you do, because this will help build your reputation as that person who is like this, that person who can do this, that person who can handle that. Whatever that thing is you want to be true about you, declare it. And hopefully you have that unique ability, or you can develop it, and then you can go do that. You can do that thing, whatever it's going to be. And it doesn't matter where you do it, because the unique ability goes with you. All right, remember? Point number 4. Today's topic, once again, is how to be a better writer. Number 4, say something that only you can say. Authors, podcasters, creators, YouTubers, etc., content creators. This is a big one right here, and this is one that gets violated often. Say something that only you can say. This one is difficult for some people, but it's actually the easiest of all 4 of these points. This is actually the easiest point of all. I'm going to tell you why. Easiest way to do this is to use your own personal life experiences and your own observations, because no one else will have the same experiences and the same observations that you have. Even if they went to the same place, the same jobs, the same schools, the same everything, they won't have the same perspective. They will not have experienced it the same way that you experienced it. So if you read my writing, for example, you'll notice in many articles that I put out, I'm often referencing some type of personal experience that I've recently gone through, or some observational point that I recently have come up with, because that's what I saw, that's what I heard, that's what I experienced, and is also what I've thought about and or just come up with, whether you want to call those the same thing. No one can copy that. No one can copy my perspective. No one can copy my experience. You can copy the general ideas of the things that I say, but where they came from, why I'm talking about them, why they matter, the little anecdotes and stories that I drop in here every episode, you can't copy that. And this is the same thing that all of you should be doing to protect your own business and protect your own interests, even when you're talking about another person, is what perspective are you giving that they either couldn't or wouldn't bring to the table? What do you have? And this is something you need to think about, because when you're saying things that nobody else is saying, and you have the unique ability, well, that's when the floodgates open, assuming that you have the right amount of attention from the right people. So I'm going to put that asterisk right after that statement. But all that said, let's recap today's class, which is how to be a good writer. Those of you who want to get better at the writing game, and you should, tomorrow's episode, I'm going to give the prequel to this one, was explaining why writing still matters. So if you are catching up on episodes and you see the episode right after this, listen to that one first, then listen to this one. But if you're listening the day that it came out, that's completely fine. Everything that I said here today is true, and it will ring even truer when you hear tomorrow's episode. So how to be a good writer. Number 1, have a personality and express it. One of the biggest challenges I see with many creators and would-be influencers when it comes to written words, they're not saying anything new. All right, many of you sound extremely generic, which means forgettable. And that leads to point number 2, ditch ChatGPT. I found it to be very good for ideation. If you're trying to come up with ideas and you ask the right question, ChatGPT will give you an endless amount of ideas. I'm not vouching for whether they're good or not, but they'll give you an endless amount of them. So I'm looking for an episode to do on this show, for example. I don't have any ideas. I can ask ChatGPT, give me 20 ideas around the topic of iPhones. Give me 20 ideas to talk about iPhones on my podcast. They'll give me 20 ideas within 30 seconds. So out of those 20, maybe I only use 1 or 2, but that's something. All right, that's something that I didn't have. So I appreciate ChatGPT for that. But I would never, as a writer, have ChatGPT do my writing for me the same way an athlete wouldn't have ChatGPT or some type of software playing in place of them. All right, here's why. ChatGPT writes very generically. It's a very generic tool. And the only way that this can be valuable for you as a writer is if you're writing some very generic blog for a generic company and they're just looking to sell it because they built up an audience and it's all SEO friendly. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. That's not something you want to see me doing. All right? I want to hear the written words of the person who actually said it. Point number 3, embrace your unique ability. Unique ability is about your way of doing things within a certain context that is not attached to a specific skill. So my unique ability is breaking things down and putting them back together in a way that's easy to understand for anyone. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could be podcasting, writing books, coaching, speaking. Doesn't matter, playing basketball. That unique ability still applies. Number 4, say something only you can say. This is difficult for some people because it's difficult while it's actually the easiest. And the reason why it's difficult for many people is many people are afraid of offending anyone. They're afraid of anyone being mad at them. They're afraid of any kind of backlash. So they effectively say nothing. I would suggest you go the opposite direction. You read my writing, you'll notice that many of the articles include some personal experience or observation or point of view that only I could come up with, and because only I saw, heard, and experienced or thought what I came up with, and also because I understand the value of establishing your brand out there in space. You got to know what your brand is. Your brand is what other people think or think about when they see you or hear your name or read your stuff. Now, while I can use an experiment that another person had and draw my own conclusions from it, I'm still only saying what I can say, because experience. I'm still only going to be saying what I can say, and I'm also giving you a perspective on another person's actions, but it's my perspective, and that can't be copied. See, no one can copy your perspective, no one can copy your specific experiences of situations, and you learn how to communicate those, and that's where your opportunity is. So with all that said, folks, make sure you text me. See in my text community. My number is 305-384-6894 at workonyourgameuniversity.com. That is the place where you get coached with me directly. It's the only place I do any coaching. That is at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Link to the number and the university both down in the description. Work on your game. Dre all